Morning guys, welcome back to another YouTube video, another episode in prep. It is currently 5:15 in the morning. Got up about 4:45. Just having my double espresso before we head to the gym. Obviously got my water with me, and then my supplements here as well. So we've got, in terms of health subs, we've got the liver, kidney, heart, omega-3s, vitamin D3, zinc, magnesium, digestive enzymes, and then other ones we've got T3, T4, anavar, telmisartan, metformin, is there any others? Arimidex is split about 3 times a week, every other day, so I'm not sure if I've got it in this one, but that is about it. So health subs will go in at some point this morning, and then we basically just head to the gym and get the day started. But today is a pretty important day. You're slipping up. Today is a pretty important day, because it's a high day today. So the first high day of prep, pretty much. We've only ran refeeds through prep, so we did I think we did 2 or 3 Five Guys meals, basically 2 weeks apart, which went well. But now we're actually doing a high day, our first high day, where the carbs and everything is split during the day instead of just having one meal. So from meal 1 to 6 is going to be pretty, high carb. So that is the plan today. My plan is to document that, take you through every meal that I'm going to have. Not the prep wise, because to be honest, the meals are quite just basic, carb heavy meals. So I'm just going to show you exactly what I eat. In terms of macros today, if I can remember off the top of my head, we have 280 grams of protein, 1,000 grams of carbs. 1,000 grams of carbs, yeah, I know. I've been on about 300 or 400 for the last weeks, and then 70 grams of fat. So I've been on 30 grams of fat for, must be over 10 weeks now, every day. So to be having 70 grams of fat is an absolute joy, because it means I can have peanut butter. And I've been having 8 grams of peanut butter on a training day and 6 grams of peanut butter on a rest day. Literally just to have in there, because I like peanut butter, and so I've been having that in a little half teaspoon, which is pathetic, I know, but it is what it is. To try and get 30 grams of fat from your food, as well. On a training day, I like to have a red meat meal, so that takes up a brunt of the fats as well. And then it's basically just trace fats really from oats and things. So today's gonna be nice. Today's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good chance to fill up. It's gonna be a good chance to get some energy back, because this week has been a bit of a slog. Just dragging the feet a bit. It is what it is. We are 3 weeks out today, so you definitely should expect that at this point. And to be honest, you should be ready. We are basically ready. We've literally probably got a few pounds to pull off, which would happen in peak week anyway. So we're ready to kind of get on stage. If we wanted to get on stage in 3 or 4 days, we could probably do that and bring a decent package. But obviously we've got 3 weeks to work around it. So now's the time to start feeding the body a bit more. Start looking at freshening up the physique, dropping some fatigue, things like that. You know, we've been digging for a while. I haven't had a feed in about 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So that's kind of what it's about. It's going to be, you know, this feed today, you know, we'll dig for the rest of the week, Monday to Saturday, see where weight is at the end of the week. If it's down, and Luke's happy with the look, he'll feed me again. You know, it's more so about that now, instead of dig. You know, we're pretty much there. Obviously, I've still got a bit of fat on my glutes, still got a bit of fat on my lower back. The legs are in, but they're still a bit inflamed, just from cardio and output, and leg day, obviously. So all those lines in the legs will come fully through, you know, when we're in peak week, and, you know, fatigue drops, cardio drops. But this morning is no cardio. So whenever we run these like high carb days, we never really do cardio, because obviously it's like we're basically trialing this for a peak, in terms of what we would run on show day or close to show day, and you know, we're not going to be doing cardio at that point. So why would we do cardio now? Because we want to see what the body does. You know, I feel like these days, these high carb days, these trial peaks, should only be done when you're kind of ready. If I wasn't ready now, Luke would not be doing a high day. If I was behind, he would not be doing a high day, because obviously filling me with 1,000 grams of carbs and, you know, over 5,000 calories, if I wasn't ready, would not make sense in terms of progress for tomorrow or today. So make sure you are ready before you implement your high day protocol. We always aim for about 2 to 3 weeks out to be completely stage ready, and, you know, to be able to, if needed, jump on stage tomorrow. It just gives us a lot of time to play with things. It gives us a lot of time to practice high days, keep feeding the body. You know, I'm tall, I'm 6'3", I'm a big guy. I need to keep my fullness and make sure the flat, when I do go flat, it doesn't run away from me, because it's very hard to fill. Like even last prep, we in terms of carbing up, we did a 1,200 gram of carb day, and then we did 1,000 gram of carbs, and then we did 900 gram of carbs. So we did a 3-day carb up, and I probably could have been a bit fuller anyway. So that's just what you've got to be careful of. If you end up letting the physique slip away in terms of becoming flat, you know, you'll be running that amount of food every single day for a week, and the digestion won't really be able to keep up with that. Or you could just potentially run into a situation where digestion is going to be compromised. So you just got to be careful with that. So that's the plan for today. I'm going to head to the gym soon. I'm hungry today. I slept all right, but obviously just thinking about today's high day, I was awake a bit more, just because I was looking forward to eating food, like a decent sized meal, you know. The same with my like designer rice pudding from ASN. I've been having 40 grams of that, or 60 grams of that on my post-workout meal. Like today, I get 2 meals of 150 grams of rice pudding. Like, you know, just things in prep we look forward to. You know, the simple things. It really does. When you go through a prep, you go through a dieting phase, like a proper dieting phase, where you're not cheating, or a prep, obviously. You really get a respect for food and for what it does, and for what it does mentally, for what it does physically, obviously, emotionally, everything. You get a very big respect for it, you know. So these days where you fill up and you're having over 5,000 calories and over 1,000 grams of carbs, you know, you look forward to it, because you know how you're going to feel off the back of that. Now, don't get me wrong, hunger today is going to be sky high, so it's going to be pretty difficult in terms of that, because I'm not going to want to stop eating, because obviously, like, we're at that point now where output's at its highest, food's at its lowest on a normal day, and fatigue is at its highest as well. So all you kind of want to do is eat the kitchen sink, because you want to get back those calories. You want to just feel full and satisfied. And these meals today won't do that really. It's still probably not enough food for that. I know what 1,000 grams of carbs feels like, and it's not really enough. We'll see, it could be different, but I'm kind of just expecting that. You've just got to be careful that you don't let the word high day and kind of make you think that it's like a freedom day for food in general, because you could run into, if you're not careful, you're not that mentally strong, or because this is the time now where the mental state is probably at its worst. You could run into a fact of binging. You could just sit there and say on the plan it's down as 1 bagel. You could sit there and have 5 bagels, because you just think, oh, it's a high day, it doesn't really matter. You just got to be careful of that, for sure, because I'm sure it happens. I've never experienced it. Obviously, I've experienced the fact that I'm starving, metabolism's really ramping up now, and I've just had a good chunk of calories from my high day food. And you feel like you could eat it again. So you've got to be careful of that when you're running high days, and not just get carried away. These are here for a purpose. You've got to nail your food. Luke's actually set my nutrition for today. So in past high days, I've always done my own, which is not a bad thing. So I'm just interested that he's taking the reins on this one. I'm sure it's just from a control standpoint from a coach, and he knows exactly what has gone into the high day today, so that next high day he can kind of implement that and add things in, take things out, increase certain things, and kind of take it from there. So I'm going to start waffling on because it's only been 12 minutes. We're going to head to the gym in a minute, get some steps, plan for today, steps, ab work, posing, and then that should only take me about an hour all in all. Because if I get to the gym for 6, it takes me an hour to do that. The shop's open at 7, well, little Sainsbury's opens at 7, so I'll go there at 7, grab what I need for today, and for the next few days in terms of food shop, because I always shop on a Sunday, and then come back and get meal 1 in. We're going to be eating meal 1 pretty early, just because get the day started in terms of food, because they are quite big meals, so you want them quite evenly spaced out. It's not like prep where I can have a meal and then 45 minutes later be hungry for another meal. We might run into some digestive issues. I probably won't, but we might. We're going to be utilising GDAs today as well, so potentially taking a serving size with each meal, just to make sure we're shuttling those carbs well and making sure that we're staying away from any digestive issues like bloating, or like extra gas and things like that, which does happen when you start to push carbs in, and obviously the body's not used to it. The body's used to having very, very little food, and now we're going to be putting all this food in at once, and your body's going to be heating up. You'll probably notice as well when you do start to do your high day, just for when that happens for you, if that happens, you'll actually start sweating when you're kind of like halfway through your meal, or like towards the end. That's just your body heating up and trying to process the food that's going in, because it's not used to it. So you're not having a hypo, which I've thought I was in the past, and it's just your body speeding up the metabolism, the body speeding up, the body working overdrive, when it hasn't been used to be doing that for a while. So don't worry, We're gonna go. I'll probably see you back for meal 1, and then we'll take it from there, guys. Right then, guys, we are set up, back from the gym, back from cardio, well, not cardio, no cardio today, back from steps, abs, food shop, and we are in for meal number 1. So, let's take you through it. In this bowl we have 150 grams of the designer rice pudding from ESN. We have 30 grams of the designer whey Leon's cereal, which is my favourite at the moment. We've got 30 grams of peanut butter, and 30 grams of strawberry jam. I've got my 3 grams of salt in there, some stevia, and that's it. But yeah, 150 grams of rice pudding. I'm looking forward to this. I'm just spending time. Got my plastic baby spoon ready to go. So it's going to take me a while to eat. But we're going to tuck into this, chilled out in front of the TV. And then I've got some prep to do. But prep will only take me half an hour today because I'm only doing two dishes. I'm doing a beef Wellington and a salmon en croûte for an event this afternoon, which I just have to drop off. So pretty easy stuff, which is nice. And then we're going to come back and chill for the rest of the day. So I'll get 2 meals boxed off before the event, and then I'll have my other 4 meals when I'm back. But yeah, we're going to tuck into this. We're going to watch. I have been actually watching a lot of full days of eating. I'm not really focused on food at the moment too much. Like I don't really have that mentality anymore. I just enjoy. It's just the only thing that I can watch and kind of engage with. Because I'm not having food, I obviously want to watch other people eat food and talk about food. So that's the kind of only thing I'm watching at the moment. I can't really engage in anything else. Even like bodybuilding content, like training content, I don't really want to watch at the moment. So yeah, we're going to do that. But yeah, we'll see you for meal number 2. Meal 2, guys, going down. It is 10 to 11 in the morning. So we have 300 grams of egg whites. I've got my usual veg in here just to keep it consistent. So mushrooms, courgette, tomatoes. We've got one crumpet, and 1 whole egg. Also in this meal is another 5 crumpets, Warburtons, so 6 crumpets altogether for this meal. The egg whites, and then Luke put on the plan 30 grams of ketchup, which is about 8 grams of carbs. I'm going to change that to have jam instead, so I'm going to have 8 grams of carbs from jam on my crumpets after this, and then always black Americano, my big coffee for the day. Probably my favourite part of the day is my coffee in the morning, my double espresso before training or cardio, and then my Americano with my eggs, with my egg meal. We are taking as well. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned on the last clip, but we're using Insure from Trained by JP, just a GDA, berberine-based GDA, blood sugar stabilizer. We're using two caps with each meal today, just to keep things under control. It's not going to change much, but it's just going to keep things at bay in terms of bloating, digestive issues with the amount of carbs that are going in. So 2 of those capped with each meal. So I'm going to get stuck into this, another meal to enjoy, and then we'll see you for meal 3, which will probably be around 2 or 3 o'clock, because that's the time there. I've done my beef Wellington and salmon. That's the time where I'm going to be dropping off these dishes. So hopefully I can be back for around 2 or 3, and then we'll see you for then. So these are the crumpets, 5 crumpets with 15 grams of jam. Meal number 3. Time is 3:30, so not too bad. I think that's been like, what time did I eat before? About 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It's about 4 hours, so quite a bit of time, but not too bad. So this meal I'm really looking forward to. First up, we've got shredded chicken. So I've just started making shredded chicken. Now, I'm not the creator of shredded chicken. John Jewett is. Watch a lot of his content, and he was saying a lot about how eating shredded chicken actually is better in terms of digestion instead of using like diced chicken or however you normally cook your chicken in pieces. Obviously shredded, it's pretty much digested anyway, or like half digested, so this has been working really well. It gives a lot more volume to the actual chicken, and you can prep it 2-3 days, keep it in the fridge, and it stays moist. I haven't had a batch of shredded chicken that's been dry, so it keeps the moisture within, because I air fry it. Basically air fry 4 chicken breasts, 15 to 20 minutes on each side. Put your seasoning on that you want, so it's got a bit of barbecue, a bit of paprika, and then literally just use the electric whisk and mix it until it's shredded, and that's that. And then you just weigh it out cooked. I've got this with broccoli, so a few broccoli heads. Not smashing the veg in this today, keeping it fairly minimal, so I'll just do broccoli today, and that'll be it really. So this is our first course, and then we'll come back and I'll show you my second course as well. But before we do that, let me just put you on here. We've got to take our inshore, so 2 cups of these is every meal. Go down. But yeah, I've been feeling good. After those first 2 meals, I actually felt a bit more alive, which I haven't obviously felt for weeks on end, so it's quite nice. But now I'm absolutely starving. I'm ravenous right now, so metabolism's definitely working. Went through the first 2 meals like nothing. I feel like I haven't eaten yet, which is good. It means the body's utilising that food. So we'll get this down, and then I'll be back for the second course. So on to our second course, which is 150 grams of jasmine rice raw weight. Looking forward to this. I always get like a weird obsession with just plain white rice on prep. I absolutely love it. So this is going to go down really well. I'm actually quite sad that today's kind of nearly done. Well, we've still got this and then 3 more meals, but still. Yeah, so I get a bit weird in prep as well, where I like to have my protein, carbs and fats separate. I know, pretty weird, but I just like to enjoy the protein side of things, then my carbs, and then my fats, instead of mixing it all together and just being like one meal. You get like 2 or 3 meals. We're going to be using the tomato ketchup zero sugar, and then 2 square bars. So I used to use these in the off season as like a top up. I had no appetite for these in the off season at all. It was just getting calories down. And again, Luke's put on the plan ketchup, which is 8 grams of carbs. I'm just going to have some jam, so I'm going to put some jam on the square bars and eat it like that. But yeah, we'll get stuck into this. I'm looking forward to it. After this, I'm going to do some work. I'm then going to go get some steps in, and then it will probably be time for meal 4, which I'll show you. Meal number 4, guys, going in. Just got back from half an hour of steps. I think I've got about 3,000 or 4,000 steps to do, so I'll probably go after my meal 5. So I'll have this meal, my next meal, go for steps, finish them off, and then be back for meal 6. So this one's quite a nice meal, bit of a sweet meal. Of course, we've got our GDA, so take that in now. 2 caps. 2 caps. In there. So, take you through this meal now. Baby spoon. So this is kind of my first round. So altogether, we've got 200 gram of Cocoa Pops, I've got 100 grams of Cocoa Pops in here right now because I'm going to have this first and then fill it back up to 100 grams. We've got 30 grams of whey, which I'm using the vanilla milk from ESN with almond milk. So I like to use on high days, just on days where I'm having like cereal and whey, I will use almond milk. The no added sugar one, so there's pretty much nothing in it. And then we got a jam bagel, so 1 bagel and 30 grams of jam. And that's this meal. So pretty simple. Only 30 grams of whey, so not much protein. Pretty carb heavy meal. We're going to sit and chill. Got like 1 or 2 check-ins to do left for today. And then pretty much just chilling and finishing steps off and finishing today's meals. So we'll get this down and then see you for meal number 5. So just coming to the end of these steps now before meal number 5. Got about 20 minutes in, so about 2,000 steps done. And I'll have around 1,500 to 2,000 steps to do after meal 5 before meal 6. So I wanted to kind of split it up, literally just from a digestion point of view. It's just going to make the food go down a bit better. But I feel good. Definitely don't feel full. I could definitely slam all the meals that I've already had today again, probably at once. We'll give it a good go, which is good. So not bloated, 0 digestion issues today so far. Still got 2 meals left. But like I said, I think just being consistent with steps, you know, making sure that I'm timing them well, making sure that I'm splitting them up between meals, I think is doing well. I think the GDA is helping a bit, maybe. Generally, just being in a good place with the physique, and being lean enough to warrant the amount of carbs and food that's going in. What was I going to do? Nearly finished the water, so I've got a 1.5 litre left for today, which should be easy. And then, like I said, 2 more meals, which I'll go through in a bit. Meal 5, guys. Back in, not 5 guys, meal 5, guys and girls. We're back in the hot seat, back in the food seat with this other meal. So it's pretty much the same as my chicken meal, pretty much. But we've got 150 grams of cod, one of my favourite protein sources, broccoli in this, and then I'll have my rice after this. So again, 150 grams of jasmine rice. We've got 2 of the square bars and Dr. Pepper Zero. Take my GDAs down the hatch, and then yeah, we'll tuck into this, and probably it's about 7:30, I think, or gone past a bit, but we'll get my last meal in at about 9 o'clock, I reckon, which gives me about an hour and a half before bed. Decent amount of time to digest and get situated with that. So this is this meal as well. Gonna have 15 grams of jam, because on the sheet it says 15 grams, 30 grams of barbecue sauce, which is about 8 grams of carbs, I think. So we'll just swap that out, put the jam on the square bars, which was actually really good last time. So we'll get into this. I'll see you for our last meal. We're back on the sofa for our last meal of the day. It's about 9 o'clock, or about 9:15, just gone past 9 anyway. Steps are done, boxed off, 12,000 steps for today. I don't think I mentioned that. No cardio this morning, so just normal steps for me today. So we're kind of back on our first meal. It's exactly the same as my first meal. So we've got 150 grams of designer rice pudding, 30 grams of the designer whey from ESN, 30 grams of peanut butter, and 30 grams of jam. I've got 1 apple just for some fruit. I always like to have an apple at night, so keep that consistent. And then I've also got the ESN sleep in the rest of my water, so I'll drink that whilst I chill out here. Have my nighttime supplements, so my liver, kidney and heart from supplement needs, and then magnesium, ashwagandha. That's it actually for my nighttime routine. That sleep product from ESN's been really good. It's a bit difficult to kind of judge it on prep because I'm up every hour for going for a piss anyway. So it's not like I've been able to kind of sleep through a whole night because I'm just up anyway, needing to go to the toilet. But I do feel a bit fresher in the morning, and I'm able to get to bed quicker, able to sleep quicker. So the real test will be kind of in the off season, I suppose, or like post prep. So I'll kind of give a review there. It's just a bit difficult in prep because obviously sleep is a bit hindered by being 3 weeks out, you know. Well, we'll be under 3 weeks out tomorrow. I've had my GDA already. And now we're just chilling, so literally going to get this meal down, wait about an hour and a half afterwards so it digests. Luke wants me to weigh in tonight, see what the difference in weight is from this morning to tonight, see how much weight I put on through the day. But I feel good, I feel tight. I could go to bed, I feel like I could go to bed and be satisfied right now, but I'm still hungry. I could easily, I could easily go to Five Guys, nail a Five Guys, two bacon cheeseburgers, large fries, come back and have a whole cheesecake and cookies. But as you can tell, that's what's on my mind. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I feel good. Looking forward to training tomorrow. I'm training push tomorrow, so I'm going to put all these carbs to some really good use tomorrow, which should be fun. Had my check-in feedback from Luke today. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're kind of just sailing in right now. So he's dropped a cardio session this week, so I'm down to 6 cardio sessions of 40 minutes, which I will take off my leg day. So I'll just train legs. I was doing beforehand leg day and then cardio because I basically get a big chunk of everything done in the morning. So I do my training fasted. I then do my cardio after training fasted, because obviously we've got to use Clen, your Himbine, so they've got to go in fasted, which is why I do that. If you are training fasted, do not do your cardio before training. Make sure you're prioritizing the training session and then do your cardio. Cardio should always come afterwards. So I train, I pose, which takes about 20 minutes. So as soon as I finish training, I take my Clen Himbine. Clen Himbine takes about 25-30 minutes to kick in. So I pose for that amount of time. And then I'm straight on the bike to do cardio. And then I'm straight outside to do about 3,000 steps. And that's my morning routine done pretty much. Just trying to take a bit less time training at the moment. I'm kind of, obviously I love training, but for me to be in there 3 hours a day, like at the off season, potentially unproductive, a bit unnecessary. Checking that's still hot. So I'm trying to look at training as in be as intense as I can for a short amount of time. I've cut my rest periods down to 2 or 3 minutes timed, so I actually do time my rest periods now to make sure that I'm constantly going, keeping the heart rate up, making sure that I don't kind of lose the pump. My main focus right now for training is holding onto the pump for the entire session. If I can do that, it's a win, whilst pretty much holding my numbers as well, in terms of what loads I'm using, reps. I'm not actually tracking loads or reps, I'm just ticking boxes, but I obviously know in the back of my head where my numbers are for every movement, as every other bodybuilder does as well. So that's been working out quite well in terms of just a mental state. I've been very much more at peace. I tell you, I was thinking today, I'm in such a good, peaceful mental state right now, with everything, with life. It's weird. It's I really enjoy this period of time in prep. In terms of everything, just my work, being a private chef, is much more efficient. I'm much better at my job because I'm lighter. I'm able to move around a bit quicker. I'm able to be more on point. My mind is more focused. Whereas in the off season, obviously, it's a lot of it's a blur. A lot of the days are blur because of the amount of food you're eating. You're constantly fatigued because you're constantly digesting. Whereas now I'm more alert. I'm more on edge. But I like that feeling. So I'm just at peace. It's a very strange feeling, but a very, very nice feeling as well. The routine set in place. I'm very, very much on my own 98 to 99% of the time, which I love as well, because I know I thrive in that environment. And I know I have to do that to accomplish what I want to accomplish. Other people like to have people around them. Other people like to have that kind of different friendships, and they like to keep their mind occupied with different things, different occasions. Going to see people. Don't get me wrong, I have one or two mates that I go and see, but very, very infrequent, and I try not to do it too much because for me it's a distraction. It's a distraction from the process. For me, it's a distraction. I have to go outside of my routine to do that, and for me that creates stress and anxiety, because while I'm there, socializing or anything, I'm like, right, I've got to be back home in an hour and a half, got this to do, things are on my mind, so it's just a distraction. I just like to be in my own routine. I like to know what I'm doing, and know that I'm kind of not what's the word? I don't know. My brain's just gone blank. Anyway, but I just like to be in my own space for a lot of the time, and that's just who I am as a person. I think that's grown as I've got more and more involved in bodybuilding and more obsessed with the sport, and more just in the mix with bodybuilding itself. And as my everything's advanced, going through different preps, off seasons. Last off season I think was a big one for me, where I saw the biggest change in kind of how I went about life, because it was very grueling. It was a very grueling 12 months, 14 months of pushing up body weight and pushing food constantly and not wanting to do anything except for, there was a goal in mind and a goal at hand, and I knew that every single day I had to accomplish that goal, which was getting the food down and getting the training done and training to my absolute best. And that was the only thing I focused on. And in prep, obviously, these focuses are heightened, and you become even more tunnel visioned within that. And I've definitely found myself doing that this prep, just more intense into the whole process, which is good. And I know that's going to bring out a package that is going to dominate, and that's the overall goal. I don't do this to just place at a show. I don't do this just to compete. I do this to dominate. Doesn't matter what class I'm going into. I only do this to dominate and to win. And I know, I'm going to have shows in my life, and I have had shows in my life where I don't win. I know that's going to come, and that's absolutely fine. But, for me to get where I want to be, these shows have to be ticked off and boxed off. And for me to be in the right trajectory, to be in that position I want to be in years' time, these have to be stepping stones that are getting ticked off every single, first time round. I don't know, I'm just very hard on myself. I'm quite critical on myself, and I expect a lot from myself because I put so much into this. I put every inch of my energy into this, and to not succeed or to not win a show is not acceptable for me personally. And that doesn't go against anyone who has beaten me in the past. I had a show last year where I came third. No, 2 years ago where I came third. And the guys that came first and second were just more peeled and I was drier, which I was absolutely, I wasn't okay with it for the first 10 minutes when I came off stage. But when I look back at pictures, I was like, yeah, okay, I understand why I placed where I placed, and it is what it is. Obviously that year I went and won the British finals for the novice, but you know, as long as I'm moving forward, that's all that matters. I'm making big steps in the off season, and continuing to push and continuing to grow and develop. You know, then we're all good. So bit of a ramble there at the end, but just kind of getting what's on my mind at the moment. Just in a very good headspace with where things are at, with where the routine's at. Just trying to stay as calm as possible. I'm quite a calm person anyway. I don't really get stressed out a lot. But just trying to stay in that mindset, because I know it's just going to bring, you know, the best out of me, which I'm obviously looking forward to. So we're going to get this meal down, last meal, watch a bit of TV and chill out. But I appreciate you guys watching this high day. If we get another high day come around, I will film again and show you that, because I'm sure the high days and the food stuff is kind of what you want to see. It's what I want to see, so I want to film it and document it for you guys and give you just an insight. Just to reel off the macros for today as well: 280 gram protein, 1,000 gram of carbs, and 70 fat. And that was today. So we're going back down to base food tomorrow, which will be, protein is, I think, the same, about 280 protein, 400 gram of carbs, 30 fat. So that's tomorrow, and for the foreseeable. So appreciate it, guys. Thank you for tuning in and watching. If you watch every week, or if you got to the end of this video, appreciate it. Just don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, because it just helps build the channel. And I want to continue to do this and document the journey. So see you again next time.